Hello, I am Pramod Kumar. Today we will study microeconomics. Chapter is market equilibrium, and the items that we will discuss is wage determination in labor market and shifts in demand and supply. Right? So how do we go ahead? First we will discuss 2-3 points. Firm being a profit maximizer will always employ labor up to the point where extra cost the firm incurs for employing last unit of labor is equal to additional benefit that the firm earns from that unit. Right? Correct? Firm is a profit maximizer. So they will always employ labor up to that point where extra cost of employing one unit of labor, is equal to additional benefit that the firm earns from that extra unit of labor. It has to be equal. Right? Extra cost of hiring one more unit of labor, is the wage rate. Suppose right now I am employing 10 labor, right? And total cost is 100. So when I employ 11th labor and my total cost becomes 111. It means for the 11th it is 111 minus 100 is equal to 11 rupees, right? So extra cost of hiring one more unit of labor is the wage rate. That is the wage rate denoted by W, right? Third, extra output produced by one more unit of labor is its marginal product, right? Suppose I am producing 10 units and total cost is 100. Then I produce 11th unit, 11 units, right? And my total cost becomes 112. So for 11th, it is equal to 112 minus 100 is equal to 12, right? Extra output produced. So after 10, this is the extra output produced by one more unit of labor is its marginal product, MPL, marginal product of labor, right? Then by selling one extra unit of output, one or each extra unit of output, additional earning of the firm is a marginal revenue, as we know from before also. Suppose I produce 10 units, I get 200 rupees. I produce 11 units, I get 225 rupees. It means marginal revenue from the 11th unit is 225 minus 200 is equal to 25 rupees, right? By selling each extra unit of output, additional earning of firm is the marginal revenue that the firm earns from that extra unit, right? Then for each extra unit of labor, that the firm employs, the firm gets an additional benefit equal to what? Marginal revenue times marginal product of labor, right? For each extra unit of labor, the firm gets an additional benefit which is equal to what? It is equal to two things: marginal revenue, which we have discussed, times marginal product, marginal revenue times marginal product, right? And this is called marginal revenue product of labor, right? for each extra unit of labor, the firm gets an additional benefit which is equal to MR plus MPL, marginal revenue, MR times MPL, marginal revenue times marginal product of labor, which is called MRPL, marginal revenue product of labor. So, while hiring labor, when the firm hires labor, the firm employs labor up to the point where W is equal to, right, wage rate is equal to marginal revenue product of labor. The moment it comes below this, the unit needs to stop employing additional labor, because by employing each additional labor, the unit will incur further loss, right? Thus, while hiring labor, the firm employs labor up to the point where wage rate is equal to marginal revenue product of labor, right? And we know what is MRPL? MR times MPL, right? And MRPL is equal to MR, right, MPL. In a perfectly competitive market, which we have discussed earlier also, marginal revenue is equal to price of the commodity, right? Marginal revenue is equal to price of the commodity, and therefore marginal product of labor is equal to value of marginal product of labor. Right? Marginal product of labor is equal to value of marginal product of labor. Right? So, it's clear. Up to this, I think it is clear. We have repeated almost everything for better understanding. Okay? Now we go ahead. We have seen wage determination in labor market, all those MR, MPL, MRPL, right? Then we see a very simple diagram. This one, in respect of determination of wage. Where does the wage rate get determined? It gets determined at the intersection of supply of labor, demand for labor, right? One thing we know, demand for labor is, what happens? Demand for labor is a downward sloping curve, right? Supply of labor is an upward sloping curve, right? Demand for labor is a downward sloping, because as the wage rate increases, this quantity supplied by labor increases. Sorry, demand for labor goes down. Demand for labor goes down as price goes down. Price goes up. When the wage goes up, what is happening? Wage is going up. So, at this point, suppose you take this point, wage this point. So, demand for labor will be here, right? Means, demand for labor will be at high wage rate, demand for labor will be less, because firms will try to, what they will try to do? They will try to see, if the higher the wage rate, the less will be the demand for labor, and the higher the wage rate, more will be the supply of labor. And the other way round, when the wage rate is low, supply of labor will be less and demand for labor will be more by the firms. right? So why does it happen? Because firms always produce at W is equal to VMPL, value of marginal product of labor, right? And price is fixed. We are talking of a perfectly competitive market. Price is fixed. So what happens when the wage goes up? The firm has to increase the marginal product of labor. So how they can do marginal product of labor? By reducing the number of labor. Number means number of hours of labor, not the number of laborers, number of hours of labor, right? So wage is determined at the cross section of supply of labor and demand for labor. When the wage rate is high, supply is more, demand is less. When the wage rate is low, then demand is less. Yes? No. When the wage rate is low, demand for labor is more, supply is less. Right? Now, one more point in wage determination. What happens you see? There is a trade-off between earning money and recreation. Earning money and recreation or leisure, whatever you may say. Suppose I am at a very low wage rate. I work for very low wages. Then what happens? When the wage rate increases, I am willing to work more number of hours, right? Because I am at a very low wage rate. Take another example. Another person or you are at a high wage rate. So when the wage rate is increased, you may not be willing to offer many more hours of labor. So if a person is at a very low wage rate and there is an increase in wage rate, that person will be willing to offer more hours of labor to earn more money. But another person at a high wage rate, when the wage rate is increased, that person may not be willing to offer many more hours of. So low wage rate, there will be more prevalence for earning more money. Higher wage rate, there will be more prevalence for recreation or leisure, right? And there is a small difference between supply of labor and supply and demand of labor and supply of demand of goods. We households, we supply labor to the firms. We are the supplier, firms are the receivers. In case of goods, commodities, it is the other way round. Firms supply and we household receive the goods, right? So it says there is a trade-off between enjoying leisure and spending more hours for work, right? So we have already discussed market supply curve is upward sloping, market demand is downward sloping. So now we will go to shifts in demand and supply, right? Let us go to this diagram. Here there is initial equilibrium at E, right? Price is P0, quantity is Q0. So initial equilibrium is at E and demand curve is DD0. Suppose demand curve shifts to the right and it becomes DD2, right? With the supply curve remaining as it is, SS0. Supply curve becomes affected when there is some change in technology or price of input changes. Otherwise, it remains constant. Initial equilibrium at T at P0 price, Q0 quantity. Suppose this demand curve shifts right to DD2, then what happens? This initial equilibrium point shifts to G, and at G, when it shifts to G at price P2, then what happens? You see here, then at this point there will be more supply, more quantity, because from Q0 quantity goes to Q2, right? From Q0 quantity goes to Q2, right? Supply remains the same, and what happens to price? Price has gone up. So when the price goes up, supply goes up, then when there is, here what is happening, there is excess demand in the market. Demand has increased from DD0 to DD2. So when the demand has increased, people may be willing to offer higher price for the commodities they buy in the market. So that will take the price to higher level at P2, and new equilibrium will be at G, which is P2 Q2, higher price, higher output, right? So same way we see another diagram where there is a leftward shift in the market demand curve. So here what is happening, this is the price, this is the quantity, and initial equilibrium has been established at E, and at that price is P0, quantity is Q0. When this DD0 shifts leftward to DD1, then what happens? You can see here, when DD0 shifts leftward to DD1, then you will find that quantity has reduced, it has come down. Price also has come down, and a new equilibrium point is at F. Earlier, our price was P0, quantity was Q0. When the demand curve has shifted leftward, then what has happened? Quantity has got reduced from Q0 to Q1, and price has got reduced from P0 to P1. So there is a decline in price, decrease in price, and decrease in quantity, right? So this is the shift of demand, right? Now we go to supply shift. In supply shift you will find initial equilibrium is at P0 and Q0, right? Supply shift. When this SS0 market supply curve shifts, where it is shifting? It is shifting to left. It becomes S2. So initial equilibrium was E, it shifts to G. Market demand curve remains the same at DD0. Then what happens? When the market supply curve has shifted leftward, upwards, with market demand curve remaining constant, then what has happened? You see, quantity supplied has decreased and price has gone up. So supply is less, price is up, right? And the new equilibrium is at G, where price is P2, increased price, and quantity is OQ2, reduced quantity, right? So it can be explained in a very simple way here. Demand supply, shift in demand, shift in supply, equilibrium, quantity, right? And equilibrium, price. So here 4 situations will be there. So we can take leftward, shift in demand curve leftward, supply also leftward, right? Rightward, rightward. This is about the shift, right? Leftward, leftward, rightward, rightward, left, right, right, left. Left, right, and correct. Shift in demand curve, shift in supply curve, equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price, how they behave. When leftward, leftward, you can remember it like this: left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right? And it's very simple: decrease, increase, right? And here may increase, may decrease, may remain the same, right? And here also may increase, may decrease, may remain the same. Here also may increase, may decrease, may remain the same, may increase, may decrease, may remain the same, right? So we will explain it. Suppose there is a shift in demand and that is leftward shift, right? So we know demand curve is a downward sloping curve. It shifts leftward, right? At the same time, supply curve also shifts leftward. Then what happens? Equilibrium quantity will decrease, right? This is our demand curve. So it has shifted left, right? This is our supply curve. This has also shifted left, right? So what happens? Equilibrium quantity decreases and equilibrium price may remain the same, may decrease or may increase. When there is a rightward shift in demand, rightward shift in supply, then equilibrium quantity will increase and equilibrium price may increase, may decrease or may remain the same depending upon the magnitude of the shift, right? Depending upon the magnitude of the shift. Then if there is a leftward shift in demand, rightward shift in supply, then equilibrium quantity may increase, may decline, may remain the same. Once again, depending upon the magnitude of shift, and equilibrium price will decrease, right? Why price is decreasing? Because shift in demand is left, means demand has reduced, shift in supply is right, supply has increased, so demand has declined, supply has increased, so naturally price will go down. Then when there is rightward shift in demand, leftward shift in supply, equilibrium quantity may go up, may go down, may remain the same, but what will happen to the equilibrium price? It will increase. Why it will increase? Shift in demand is rightward, means demand has increased. Shift in supply is leftward, means supply has reduced. So naturally demand has increased, supply has reduced, so price will increase. There will be pressure on the equilibrium price, right? So this is the easiest way to learn this. Then same thing has been explained in diagram. You can very easily remember it. Left, left, right, decrease. Price may increase, may decrease, may remain the same. Right, right, increase. The moment you see shift in demand is leftward, means demand has reduced. Shift in supply is leftward, means supply is, what is happening to supply? Shift in demand is leftward, so downward sloping curve leftward, it has reduced. Shift in supply upward curve, it goes leftward, means it increases. Equilibrium quantity will decrease, and this is the, then right increase, may remain the same, may increase, may decrease. Left right, this is the best way to remember it, right? So how did we start? We started with wage determination, right, in labor market. So households are the suppliers of wage and firms are the buyers. Whereas in case of goods and commodities, firms are the suppliers, households are the buyers of the goods and commodities, right? And we have seen all those things. The firm is a profit maximizer, and the firm will always employ labor up to the point where extra cost C incurs for employing that last unit of labor. Extra cost the firm incurs for employing that last unit of labor is equal to additional benefit that the firm earns from that extra unit of labor, right? Then we discussed extra cost of hiring one more unit of labor. Extra cost of hiring one more unit of labor is called the wage rate, denoted by W, right? Then we discussed extra output produced by one more unit of labor. The firm is employing one more unit of labor, and on account of that, whatever extra output is generated, that is called marginal product, right? MP and a small l, marginal product of labor. By selling each extra unit of output, the firm, by selling each extra unit of output, it earns additional income, and the additional earning of the firm is the marginal revenue. Suppose 10 units which I sold for 100 rupees, 11 units for 115. So the marginal revenue out of the 11th unit sold is 15 rupees. 115 minus 100 is equal to 15, right? That is called marginal revenue the firm gets from that extra unit. Then for each extra unit of labor, the firm gets an additional benefit, right, which is equal to marginal revenue times marginal product of labor, MR times MPL, right, which is called marginal revenue product of labor, MRPL, and that is a combination of MR times MPL. So while hiring labor, the firm employs labor up to the point where W becomes equal to MRPL, means wage rate becomes equal to marginal revenue product of labor, and marginal revenue product of labor, MRPL, is equal to MR into MPL, right? In case of perfectly competitive markets, marginal revenue is equal to price of the commodity. Marginal revenue is equal to price of the commodity, and we know marginal revenue, what I get revenue by sale of an additional item, additional unit of output. Marginal revenue is the price of commodity, right? And therefore marginal product of labor, MPL, is equal to value of marginal product of labor, right? Value of marginal product of labor, right? So this was, and wage rate gets determined at the cross section of intersection of supply of labor and demand for labor, right? And labor is always calculated not in number of laborers employed but number of hours worked, numbers of hours worked, right? And then we have seen shift of demand curve, shift of supply curve, right? Here demand curve has shifted from DD0 to DD2, it has shifted, and supply curve remains the same because supply curve generally gets affected with change in technology and change in input prices. But here we have considered those things as constant, right? And then we have seen shifting of demand curve from DD0 to DD1 this way with supply curve remaining constant, right? And then we have seen shift in supply curve, right? So I hope you found it easy to understand. In case of any difficulty, you may please approach me on my email ID, which will be there at the thumbnail to the video. Thank you very much.